All right, so good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on when you're going to be watching this video. So I'm recording this video now because of those that missed the training. Yeah, the 3 days free training. So I'm going to be talking about the day one, what we learned in day one. Some persons were not able to join the training because of one issue or the other, maybe their telegram, especially those that complained about their telegram being faulty and all that. So I decided to make this video so you can watch and not miss out as well. So this is when we started with a prayer, and then I said, first, let me tell you the benefits of having a graphic design skill. Okay, so the sweet thing about the graphic design skill is the flexibility, and you can work for brands from the comfort of your home and make money. Then it's also a high demand skill. Yeah, I believe that is self-explanatory. And then you don't need a laptop for it. With your smartphone, you can be able to create captivating visuals like myself. So yes, we proceed to define graphic design. So what is graphic design? Graphic design is communication. This communication happens through the combination of images, text, shapes, colors, and other elements relevant to your brand. So graphic design is solving the problem of people not being able to show their message and ideas to their customers via visual aids. Then I proceeded to say graphic design is everywhere. We cannot do without it. From the billboards to the flyer designs to posters, they are all graphic designs. So I think I sent an
graphic design. This is basically using visuals, text, colors, shapes to convey a particular information to an audience. What do I mean? Let's take for instance, we are in Ember period, right? Okay, there is Christmas period. So you are seeing all these flyers, 5 days of Christmas sales, discounts, sales, and all that. Those flyers you are seeing, when you see them now, they are brand now posts it on their page and all that. When their audience sees it, they are going to take action. Why? Because they are communicating an information to them. They want them to take advantage of this discount. They want them to take advantage of the sales that is ongoing, the 5 day sales and all that. So this is what graphic design does. It's passing a message across to the audience using visuals like flyer designs. So that's basically what graphic design is. Yes, you might be wondering, okay, why am I calling them the foundation of...
Okay, so I proceeded to say that as a graphic designer, you're a visual communicator. Why? Because you're a visual communicator in the sense that you're helping brands who cannot communicate their messages effectively using visuals. So you are now there now to bridge in the gap between business owners, brands, and help them to convey their message by making and crafting out flyer designs that will fit their brand goals and communicate their message to the audience. So that's your work as a graphic designer, and that is what graphic design is. So now let's talk about the foundation of graphic design. So this foundation of graphic design are known as the elements of design. So I call them the foundation of graphic design because they are more like the building blocks, something you cannot do without, because you cannot just jump on your software and start working on something you don't know. There are things that are going to guide you, there are things that you're going to be working with that will make you to bring out those visuals to life. So that is what the element of design is. So the first element is color. So artists and designers use color to depict and describe the subject. Color is used by designers to portray the mood, light, depth, and point of view. So color helps to establish a mood for your composition. That sensation you perceive when light strikes an object and reflects on the optical nerve of the human eye, that is called color. So what do I mean now? Let's take for instance, when you see a food brand, you notice that okay, they make use of colors like red. Why? Because red stands for attraction. When you see a red flyer design now, and it's a food brand that owns the flyer design, you're going to feel attracted to it. It's going to strike something within your emotion to want to take action. You get? So that's what color is. So the second one is line. Line refers to the way that 2 points in space are connected. Whether they are horizontal lines, diagonal lines, or vertical lines, lines can help direct the eye towards a certain position in your composition. So now we use lines to direct viewers eye to a particular direction from one point to another. Can you see this one on this flyer? Can you see this is moving? It's more like the line is moving from one direction to another. So that's the function of line. So now another element is value. What do I mean? Value. Okay, artists can use the various values of color to create the illusion of mass and volume in their work. Now take a look at this design. You're going to see this is red, this is the same red, but now this red is thicker, or let's say it's darker, this one is lighter, and the third one is more lighter. Do you get? So that is what value is. It's more like, okay, it refers to the lightness or darkness of a color, as you can see the red color in the design. So it's still the same red, but then there is this degree of darkness, there is this degree of lightness of the color. So that's what basically value is. So another element of the graphic design is shape. In the most basic form, a shape is a two-dimensional area that is surrounded by an outline. Can you see? We have shapes like square, triangle, and the likes. So these shapes, you make use of it for your design. So another element of design is form. Can you see this shape? You can see how plain it is, right? Now look at form. Form pertains to the way that a shape or physical configuration occupies a space. If you are looking at this is still a square shape, but then it's now have more like a depth. It's now looking more like a three-dimensional. It's not looking like a two-dimensional area now, like just the normal shape. So instead of creating form through three-dimensional physical shape, designers create the appearance of form on a flat surface by using light, shadow, the appearance of an object's contour, negative space, and surrounding objects around the subject matter. What do I mean? This is still a shape. This is still that same square, but now if you can see, I added depth to it. I used the 3D rotating tool to like make it have more depth and look like a form. So it's not looking like a flat shape again. So you can see the clear difference between a shape and a form. Yeah, I believe the difference is clear. So now, elements of graphic design. Another one is texture. So what is texture? Texture is one of the elements of design that is used to represent how an object appears or feels. So that is what texture is. So now graphic designers use the elements of design to create an image that can convey a certain mood, draw the eye in a certain direction, or evoke a number of feelings. So after talking about the elements of design, another thing you're going to be considering in graphic design is the principles of design, because in life, even life itself have rules. So these are rules that are guiding graphic design. These are rules guiding graphic design and should not be neglected. This is more like it may look basic to you, but then this is something that you're supposed to hold on to. You're supposed to know this as your fingertips as a graphic designer, because if you don't know the rules guiding a graphic design, you're going to produce rubbish. You're going to produce something that does not fit in well with the brand you are working with. So we have principles of design. We have contrast, hierarchy, alignment, proximity, white space, etc. We are going to be looking at them one after the other. So now this is contrast. Okay, so now can you see this? Can you see that place I wrote good contrast with a white text on a purple background? Can you see the bad contrast with a blue text on a red background? So now you agree with me that when you saw the good contrast, it was easily readable for you, like you are able to read it at a glance. You don't need to stress your eye. Now look at the bad contrast. It's not readable into the eye. So that's what contrast is all about. So contrast is basically using light image on a dark background and vice versa. So this is more like the most simple way to define contrast. So now another principle of design is hierarchy. So what is hierarchy? It is used to guide the viewer's eyes, giving more visual weight to the most important message. This is more like what directs the viewer's eyes. What do you want us to see first? So in this manner, you have to create a more sequential way of how you want your audience to see it. What do I mean? Can you look at this flyer design? When you see it, what you will see first, it start out well in 2025. Why? Because that is what I want you to design. Like, that's what I want you to see first. Had it been I wanted you to see what to expect, I'll make it bolder. So it is my work as a graphic designer to know that, okay, this brand that reached out to me, they want this to be their headline, they want the audience to see this first, they want them to see this second, they want me to align it like this. So that's basically hierarchy, and you should pay attention to this. Just imagine this an online webinar that will shape you ahead. Just imagine that test now is bigger and start out well in 2025 is smaller. You see that the message is not going to be clear. So that is what hierarchy does for you. Yeah, so we did a little exercise. So I told them, what do you see first? They pulled a few days, like about 143 voted. Okay, so yes, so it is because I wanted the audience to see the start out well in 2025 first. That is why I gave it much more visual weights. Yes, you can see the size, that's the visual weight. So another principle of graphic design is proximity. So proximity is basically grouping related items together to create a relationship between them. This helps organize information and make it easy to understand. So what do I mean? So now in a design, you want to be putting things that are related together. Let's say, let me use this for an example now. Let's say this what to expect. You can see the first one, how to define smart goals. The second one, strategies for prioritizing tasks, budgeting tips, and smart investment. What if now these things are related terms, like they are under the same what to expect? Just imagine I put the first one here, put the strategies for prioritizing. This side I put the accounts details. Just imagine, you see that it's going to create confusion. So
And then it has the
so for instance, in a flyer that the date and time of the event is together helps the viewer to easily grab the content rather than scattering it in the flyer. Now look at this. You see that the featuring word, worship, praise, prayer, deliverance, drama, etc., they are in the same place. So if I'm reading it now, I know that all these things here are what they are featuring in this program. Now look at the dates. Look at the dates now, 31st to 3rd November 2024, 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily. So now we are going to be seeing all these together. I don't need to put the time here. I'll go and put the 5 a.m. above this place I put prayer meeting. No, if you do that, you're not obeying the rule. So another principle of graphic design is balance. So what is balance? This is the distribution of visual weights in a design. I made mistake. So equilibrium in design, making everything balanced. Let's say you have an image on one side and then text on the other side. Create a sense of balance. It can be symmetrical or asymmetrical. So like now look at this design. Can you see the balance? Can you see, okay, this lady's image is in one side, look at the text are in the other side. Can you see that when you look at this, it's not looking like one side is having more weight than the other side? You get? So this is what I mean by balance. Distribution of equal weight on the flyer design. You don't want it to look like the other side is weighing more than the other side, so making the design look as if it wants to fall. You know, now in equilibrium, when you get a stand, let's say this pendulum stand or something, when the other side is weighing more, is having more weight. Let's say you're putting 20 kg, mass of 20 kg on this side, you're putting mass of 5 kg on this side. You definitely know that, okay, this one that is 20 kg is going to pull the whole weight, making this one to even become more slanted. They're not going to be balanced. But imagine using 20 kg here, 20 kg here, they're going to be balanced. So that's what balance is in design. Yeah, you can see that we are even using physics in graphic design. So now another principle is white space. 40 minutes already. So white space is the empty space around elements in a design. It helps to prevent a layout from cluttering. So this helps in spacing out elements on a design to avoid it being cluttered. You don't need to jam pack everything together. It is also known as negative space. So I said, let your designs breathe, don't suffocate them. So now listen to this. Okay, now so let's say that in a flyer design you've written the headline and start out well in 2025. You want to write the subheading. You're not going to write it immediately after the headline. You're going to give it space. Okay, so now look at this design, this principle of graphic design, then functionality. Can you see the space I gave? Did I just cluster everything? Let me show you. You can see the space, right? I gave space here, I gave space here, I gave space. Like you can see the space. I'm not suffocating the design. So that is what white space is, also known as negative space. That's what it does for you in the design. So now another principle of graphic design is functionality. Now this is the main of it all, but this works together with other principles in the sense that the design should serve its purpose, make it functional, ensure it is passing a message across. So now functionality, I call it the main of it all, because when you work on a flyer for a brand and then this flyer does not do the work, it does not serve the purpose of why it was created, then it is nonsense. You just wasted your time. Why? Because this thing, that's why if you're working on a design, you should put your client, you should put the person you're working for first. You should not be putting, okay, let me just do it my own way. No, you should consider the audience, different audience, different audience, different way of communication. You cannot be doing the style of a skincare flyer for the style of a food brand flyer. So it has different, and it has its own unique way of communicating the message to the audience. So that's what functionality is. So I shared with them these comments. I posted this design on my Twitter, and one of the comments I got two comments actually, and this one said, two comments that said this type of thing. The first one said, it's beautiful, the color, fonts and image really pop out well, it really struck an emotion, I'm craving for snail. So this is a snail brand flyer design I worked on. It's on my Instagram actually. I would have loved to show it, but then I don't want to make this video too long, so it's on my Instagram. So I posted this on my Twitter. So this one is even the one that said I'm craving for snail. So one even asked me to share the contact of my vendor that she would like to purchase it, because the location or that is on the flyer is closed. Like he knows the place, so he was like, send me the contact that even the snail is looking attractive, they would love to patronize. That is exactly what a flyer designed to do. I'm seeing it, the audience is seeing it, and they want to take action. Like this is what you mean by a flyer is functional. You don't just make a flyer beautiful. I always tell people it is not about the aesthetics. Yes, it should be beautiful, but then it should serve its purpose. So that is it. So now he was able to say I'm craving snail. Why? Because this flyer design got his attention. What if I used a dull color? What if I used a color that was not attractive? What if I used images that do not represent the brand? Is it going to crave for this? Is that person going to make payments? No. So now, so I said, please take your time to read and digest all that I have said, because without knowing the principles of design, it's more like the basis. It's like someone walking without a direction. Yes, you need to know the principles of design before you can work on a design project, so that you will have a direction of where you are going to. So after then, I gave them an assignment to replicate a design and send it back to me. So the app we used was Pixel app. So I sent a video of the design I wanted them to recreate. I sent a video of the design I wanted them to replicate. I sent them the images to use, the background and everything. So I told them to submit the assignment. So now for you that missed the class, so you can watch this video. Once you watch the video, request for the assignment. I'm going to send you the app, the video and the images you are going to be using to do the assignment, and then you send it back to me. So with that, I believe that is that for day one. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to come to my DM. Yeah, thank you for watching. Also, don't forget to subscribe so that this video will get to other persons.